There is no better feeling than waking up on Sunday morning and seeing NFL Red Zone on your TV, coffee in your hand, hunt over a shit after a Saturday night. Ain't nothing better than that, boys. All right, boys, we are going on week 3 now of the SGS third annual fantasy football podcast. I'm obviously your host, Jordan. I'm back here today. Kind of going through some of the matchups that we had for NFL Week 2. We had a couple pretty good matchups. A lot of injuries took place as well, so a lot of issues for some teams now. We'll go ahead and get started off with Seth versus Connor Calavan this week. So this ended up being a blowout. Seth's team showed up, and really good performance from T. Higgins, really good performance from Joe Burrow and Brian Robinson. Huge games from them, and Justin Jefferson doing his thing. Hunter Henry showing that he's a really good, viable option to throw a touchdown to in New England. So pretty good, solid squad that Seth has. A little concerning about Breece Hall not putting up a lot of points. They really just couldn't get their run game going, their offense in general, against Dallas. But I would expect him to have a couple good games coming up because Dallas has arguably best defense in the league right now. And then Connor's team, really two players shine the most, Devontae Smith and Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones put up 37. Big week for him QB-wise in the league. Probably put up the most points. Maybe Kirk Cousins put up more, but Devontae Smith having another big week. He's really looking like a solid fucking wide receiver to start every week. So Calvin Ridley kind of had a down game, so that brought you down. No production from your running backs. Unfortunately, Austin Eckler was out. And that really hurts you. So now with Penny and Samaje starting, Penny didn't do anything really. Samaje didn't do much either. So, but yeah, Seth went ahead, got that dub. Good for him. Got himself in the win column. And then Connor goes to 1-1. Next up, we got Jace versus Crew. This was a pretty close matchup, I would say. 10-point win for Jace right here. Looking at Jace's team, Christian McCaffrey, once again, big week for him. I expect him to have a big week every week that he plays football healthy. Puka Nacua, on biggest surprise of the year so far, I would say, from how productive he's been on this Rams offense. We didn't really know how the Rams offense was going to be coming in, but Puka Nacua has filled in that WR1 spot on that team. 15 receptions last week. Insane amount of receptions for him. So continue to see him improve. But yeah, Justin Fields, he's been kind of a little down so far. I mean, he hasn't been playing bad, but I mean, he just hasn't had a breakout game yet that we've saw last year, and I'm sure that's coming around soon. So, and then with Crew's team, Jalen Hurts, he played very well. Bijan Robinson had a really good game too. That's very promising to see that out of him. Kind of taking Tyler Allgeier's spot. Mike Evans, huge game for him. He performed very well. But yeah, really nothing. Josh Reynolds had a big game. He could have been someone you could have started. But, I mean, Odell's been down. He got hurt this week. Scantling's been just, subpar. You would expect a wide receiver to break out at some point for KC, which maybe Sky Moore, which was what we thought at the beginning of the year. He had a decent game. So, but yeah, anyways, Jace he went ahead and got a dub, so he's 1-1 now. But now Crew falls to 0-2. So we'll see if Crew can bounce back week 3. All right, next up we got Carson and Bryce. Carson changed his name to I don't know anymore. He had unfortunate circumstances happen. He lost Nick Chubb this week, so that was his big-time player that he picked up. But anyways, we'll look through this. This was somewhat of a close matchup too, but Bryce came out, got the win. Bryce's team. Brock Purdy had a decent outing. Rashad White played very well. Stephon Diggs did okay. Amon-Ra St. Brown did okay. Really, Buccaneers defense and your kicker really stepped up for you this week. They showed out and put up big fucking numbers, so congrats on that. Geno Smith on your bench maybe could have been a start, but it doesn't matter. You still won. So Carson, on the other hand, I mean, he didn't get a lot from Trevor Lawrence. Obviously, Nick Chubb, too, with the injury. That was very unfortunate. He was looking like he was going to have a good game, too. Pittsburgh could not stop their running game at the start. Josh Jacobs didn't do well, too. Keenan Allen and Gabe Davis really kind of handled the load, as well as the Cowboys defense again. Cowboys defense putting up 16 points. So this defense could really fucking put up good numbers with how they've been playing. So we'll see when they start playing some other teams around the league. But good for you that you have Jerome Ford now. So now you got the handcuffs and you can put him on there. So, but that falls Carson to 1-1. Bryce is now 1-1 as well. So we got a lot of 1-1s in our league right now. A lot of very even teams. We kind of predicted this coming in. All of our teams looked very even. So next up, we got Jack and Dylan. Gosh, this was a very close matchup right here. Jack's team pulled it out, got the victory. Now we'll start with his team. Kirk Cousins had a huge week, 35 points. So it was Daniel Jones that had more than him, but still an amazing outing from Kirk Cousins. Joe Mixon did okay. James Conner had a pretty good game. Deebo Samuel, very good game as well. Mike Williams stepped up a little bit, did better than his projection. Didn't get nothing from the Jets defense. Darnell Mooney, 0. Didn't he get hurt? I think he got hurt during the game. Maybe that was what it was. But yeah, and also Dylan's team. Deshaun Watson did okay. Saquon had a huge game, but he got hurt. So now you have to find someone to replace him, which would probably be like a McKinnon. I don't know about this Tank Bigsby guy. I don't know much about him. And then Najee Harris, he's been very disappointing to start the year. Jalen Waddle didn't play the best. He played okay. I'll give it to him, actually. He played okay. But TJ Hawkinson had a big game. That Minnesota offense went crazy, even though they lost. But yeah, kind of a solid outing for Drake London. Maybe you could throw him in your flex. But that was a solid outing right there for Jack. What a close matchup. Jack goes to 2-0, and Dylan goes to 1-1. So Jack's starting the year off 2-0. Let's go, man. I'm telling you, bro. Got focused up after doing that punishment. Next up, we got Andy and Tuck. This was somewhat of a close matchup. Andy got the dub. Anthony Richardson with 18 points, but he only played one half, I believe. So, I mean, he ended up having the concussion protocol, so he was looking like he was going to have a pretty big game. Pollard doing what he does, had a solid game. Garrett Wilson, great game. Sanders didn't do much. Zay Jones was 0. Did he end up getting hurt in that game? I think he did. Yeah, he did. He had a knee injury. Tyler Lockett, big game for him, man. Their offense looked really good against Detroit. But yeah, that was a pretty solid outing for Andy. We're looking at Tuck's team now. Tuck, Justin Herbert's great offensive player. So he's going to continue to throw that rock. Oh my God, I can't fucking talk. Throw that pigskin. He's going to keep throwing that pigskin. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, all those big boys. James Cook had a big game too. He's actually had a good, solid start to the season. A.J. Dillon did okay. Jamar Chase didn't do much. DK did okay. Chris Olave did okay. Yun Hoku had a pretty big game for you. But yeah, unfortunate circumstances for you with Mostert having a big game, but it is what it is. Anyways, let's see. That by the way, Andy 2-0 now. Congrats to Andy. He is 2-0, still undefeated. And then Tuck, he's fell down to 0-2, unfortunately, but we'll see if he'll bounce back. All right, next up we got Kyle and Chance. So Kyle, pretty decent outing from your team. Just Chance had a really rough going team performance. Kyle, two had 17. Derrick Henry had 17. Ken Walker 17.9. CD 19.8. So solid outings from all those players. Tua did okay. I would say for his performance that he had on week 1, he went off. And then we'll look at Chance's team. Travis Kelce came back. Didn't really do much, but I'm sure he's going to start performing to his caliber soon. David Montgomery got hurt, so that is going to hurt you. Travis Etienne, I think, as well got hurt. He did. So we'll see if he stays healthy and is able to play. Josh Allen had a big game for you. But yeah, I mean, just very unfortunate. Defense didn't do nothing at all. But Kyle, 2-0 now to start the season. Congrats, Kyle. Chance is now 0-2 to start the season. So a little bit of a disappointing start for Chance's team. Me expecting him to play a little bit better, but I don't know. Some of these players just haven't performed well, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm sure they'll start playing better. And then me and Bert's matchup. My team went off this week. They performed very well. Mahomes went off for me, had his typical game that he should have every week. Stevenson had a decent game. Swift, big, huge game for him, had got me really feeling optimistic about him coming into the rest of the season. Tyreek, a little bit of a down game for him, but he still had 12. I'll take it. George Pickens with 20, breakout game for him. I was expecting him to be WR1 going into Pittsburgh this week, and he showed it. So really happy about that. Zach Moss, starting running back for Indy. Happy about that. Man, I don't really want to talk about him. Bills defense, I mean, pretty good performance. Graham Gano did okay. But yeah, Marvin Mims had a big game. Gus Edwards too. So got some optimism right there for those players. And then with Hayden's team, Hayden just didn't have a lot of performance from his running backs. Running backs did not play well. Lamar had a great game. A.J. Brown didn't do well too. Jordan Addison had a pretty good start to the season for him. Ferguson had a touchdown. Devontae Adams had a pretty good game. So yeah, just very unfortunate. Sky Moore could have been someone to start over, but honestly, why would you start him over Adams or A.J. Brown? Doesn't even matter. Just sometimes weeks like this happen. So, but yeah, I go to 1-1, so now I'm in the win column now. Thank God. Hayden is 1-1 now as well. So, all right, boys. So that's week 2. Kind of recapping. Let's go ahead and go on to week 3, shall we? Week 3 matchups. All right. Start from the bottom, go to the top. So we got Connor Calvan taking on Bryce. Got a 50-50 matchup here. Bryce coming off a win, Connor Calvan coming off a loss. I say here, so big time matchups here from Daniel Jones, Geno Smith. We'll see what happens with that. Austin Eckler hopefully will be coming back for Calvan's team, so he should have better production from the running backs this week. Everyone else, you got Jaden Reed now. He's got a lot of optimism coming into this week after having the 2 touchdown game. I kind of like how you have your lineup. Terry McLaurin had a pretty decent game, so I'd probably keep it where it is. As for Bryce, going kind of with Pacheco, starting him up this week since he was questionable. Damian Pierce has had a down year, so I can understand why you would put him in. Tutu Atwell's had a very strong start to the year as well, but you got Stephon, Anton, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Brandon Ayuk. I would keep all those players in for your wide receivers. Just keep that the way it's going. So also, waiver wire pickup for Bryce. Kareem Hunt just signed with the Browns. Don't really know what he's going to... I'm sure he'll probably fill in the RB2 spot. I think that Jerome Ford's going to, after a big game that he had last week, I think he'll continue to play RB1. But who knows? Maybe Kareem Hunt will kind of do what he did with Chubb and from time to time have some pretty decent games. So we'll see. But yeah, with this matchup, very close. I kind of want to lean towards Bryce's team more because I love his wide receivers. They could have breakout games this week and help you win this week. And Geno Smith, now they're playing Carolina. I'm sure he's going to have a pretty good game too. So I'll go with Bryce this week on that. All right, next up we got Jack versus Crew. 2-0 versus 0-2 here. Jack's starting the year off strong and is projected to win. So we'll see what happens. 53% to 47. Really looking strong with Kirk Cousins, Joe Mixon, James Conner. Debo had a big week, so expect him to continue that on Thursday. Jacoby Myers coming back too for you. He could end up having a big game. He had a big game his first week, but concussion protocol week 2. Sat out. I really think no one you can put in. Yeah, just keep it the way it is. Crew's team, on the other hand, decided to put Josh Reynolds in. He did have a big week, so I don't blame you. Odell, he just has not looked good, so I would probably just keep Odell on the bench until we actually see some production out of him. But yeah, I like your starting lineup how you have it right now. Don't really have anyone you could fill in, so Van Jefferson, Marvis Valdez, Scantling, DJ Chark, Odell. This flex for you is a mix-up. You could really start anyone. I just haven't seen a lot of production out of Van Jefferson so far. I don't know about Van Jefferson. I'd maybe put Scantling in just because he's on Kansas City. I know he's been disappointing so far, but I would expect him to have a game coming up soon. Yeah, Odell, I don't know. That's just a really tough spot for your Crew. Anyways, who I got winning on this week? From what I'm looking at, if Jacoby Myers comes back for Jack too, kind of tough to beat him, but Jalen Hurts could have a big game. I'm going to lean towards Jack. I feel like his team just looks more solidified. We'll see. Jack with the dub. Anyways, let's go ahead. Get back to Andy versus Seth. Stillwater matchup here. Alright, so what we're looking at is a 52% chance of Andy winning on this game. This is going to be a good matchup. Very good teams right here. Andy's got Dak, Tony Pollard. Very strong starts for the season for both of them. Kyron Williams. He is looking really good with the Rams. The Rams offense looks surprisingly very good. Garrett Wilson, we'll see how he plays against New England's secondary. Miles Sanders has played okay. He didn't have a strong week 2, but he's still running back 1. Yeah, Andy, you got a lot of tough choices of people to pick that you have on your bench that you could put in here. I mean, Lockett had a big week. You could arguably put him in over Garrett Wilson. That's tough to say, but Garrett Wilson's had a strong start to the year, but Lockett had a great game. We'll see, man. That's a tough one. Now with Seth's team, Joe Burrow, Breece Hall, Brian Robinson, Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins. He came off a win this week. Aaron Jones might be coming back, which would help out tremendously. How's Stafford started off the year? He's done okay. 2 20-point bombs to start the year. Joe Burrow's questionable coming in. Hard to say if he'll be available versus the Rams. So we'll see if he ends up playing. That's actually really tough. Really tough for you, Seth, because if you don't hear anything about him come Sunday, damn, you might have to just start Stafford just in case. But hopefully we'll hear some more news about it coming in. Who I got winning this week, just because of all the questionables that you have, Seth. I know he's got a couple questionables too, but I feel like you losing Joe Burrow would be a big loss for you. So I'm going to give Andy the edge this week. I think he's got to go 3-0. All right, next up, we got Chance versus Jace. I think this is a pretty good matchup right here too. But Chance's team is just kind of beat up right now, and that's what's hurting him. Losing David Montgomery. most likely. So yeah, let's look at Seth, or sorry, not Seth's. Chance's team. Jace has a 59% chance of winning, by the way. 41. Yeah, my fucking mic likes to just turn off randomly for some reason. So, but yeah, we'll look into this real quick. Josh Allen. Big time week for him. Expect him to keep doing that. ETM, Jamal Williams, both questionable. I don't think Jamal Williams is going to play this week, so you're probably going to need to put another running back in for him. You got Tony Jones Jr., Devin Singletary, maybe that could play. Keep a radar on David Montgomery too. Travis Etienne is also questionable. We'll see. But yeah, no one you can really fit in. I mean, Tank Dell had a pretty big week, but I would keep the wide receivers you have in. Now with Jace's team, we're hoping for a big game from Justin Fields this week against a KC defense that is, average. So I would expect Justin Fields to kind of have he could have a breakout game this week. So Puka Nacua has been solid. I mean, you're picking up some solid waivers right there with him. But yeah, you have no one to put in. I don't know why you don't feel slot in. Put Deontay Johnson in your IR and go pick someone up. That's interesting. But yeah. Anyways, Jace, you're getting the dub this week, I believe, just because of how beat up Chance's team is. He's just right now his team is in shambles. Unless Josh Allen carries him, which can happen some weeks. Josh Allen could put up a 40 bomb and then fuck, it's a close matchup all of a sudden. All right. Next up, clicked the wrong thing accidentally. We got Carson and Hayden. Bert. So, Bert's got a big chance of winning this week, but obviously Carson's kind of got to fill in a slot right here, so the projections will be different. So he's gonna definitely probably put in. Where's he at? Am I tripping? Oh, you don't have Ford. I forgot about that. Yeah, that was a weird situation that happened this morning. I did see that. That is weird. Well, anyways, shit. I don't know if you're going to be able to get Ford again. That's crazy. But good news. Keandre Miller, most likely going to be RB1 next week. So you'll fill him in, I would say. I believe he is going to be coming back. So, anyways, yeah, everything's looking solid for you on your starters. Hayden, uh, everyone's looking good. I mean, keep it the same. I would say Lamar Jackson's questionable. Hopefully he plays, but there's a lot of QBs available. So, but yeah, about to sneeze. Maybe it was coming. No? Yeah, I guess not. Almost sneezed. Anyways, yeah. So this is gonna be a good matchup right here. Once Carson puts someone in, but I believe Hayden gets the dub this week. Tuck versus Kyle. All right, so 0-2 versus 2-0 once again here. Let's see if Tuck can get a dub this week. It is a 50-50 matchup right here. Both teams looking solid. Not really a lot of injuries going on other than DK Metcalf, so primarily healthy, which is good to see for both of y'all's teams right here. We'll check out the bench real quick. Yeah, so Mostert, definitely probably going to need to start him. He's having a solid start to the season. But they are playing Denver, who has a good defense usually. Yeah, A.J. Dillon's kind of had a down start to the year. But yeah, everything's looking solid for you. Now we'll go to Kyle's team. To Derrick Henry, Kenneth Walker, CD, Michael Pittman. Tyler Algier's a little bit of a risk. We'll see. Bijan Robinson just came off a big week. But he still had that big week one, so we'll see if maybe he'll come around. You do have Dalvin Cook, which you could put in. He hasn't done much at all. Fuck. DJ Moore could have a pretty decent outing. Could have a decent outing coming up. So I would maybe fit DJ Moore in for Tyler Algier. We'll see how Tyler Algier looks. But Yeah, I don't know. That's an iffy one. So, anyways, who I got winning this week on this? Jeez, man, I don't know. This one's a toss up. I'm gonna ride with upset here. Ding ding ding. I'm riding with Tuck. Let's go, Tuck. Get a dub this week, buddy. All right, now it's me and Dylan. Last matchup of the week. Um, I am projected to win. Dylan's team, he is kind of having the same problem as some other people like Carson, injury problems, Chance, injury problems with his team right now. Jalen Waters questionable, but I'm sure he'll come back and play. Christian Watson is practicing, so he is most likely going to play this week. We'll see how he fits in. Drake London had a pretty good game. He might be someone to fill in there in case they don't show up, like Christian Watson doesn't end up playing or something. But yeah, that kind of hurts you. It's good that you have Matt Breida handcuffs for Saquon, so maybe he'll have a big game coming in. But they are playing San Francisco. Now, with my team, I feel pretty optimistic. I'm kind of interested to see what happens with DeAndre Swift here, with Kenneth Gainwell coming back. If he's gonna split carries, we'll see. But yeah, I don't really have much changes I want to make. I'm still kind of waiting to see how Marvin Mims plays next week. He only had 2 receptions, so I mean that he isn't getting a lot of targets. Gus Edwards is another one up in the air that I could start at some point at this year. So, but yeah, obviously going to go with myself this week. Have a pretty good chance. So, all right. All right, there's that, boys. Now let's go to the standings real quick and just kind of look at the 1-1 teams. There's a lot of them. So, SGS West is piled with 1-1 teams with Seth, Carson, Connor Calavan, Bryce, Hayden. So that is right there 5 teams that are 1-1 just on the west side. Now on the east side, there's 3. It's me, Jace, and Dylan. So a lot of 1-1s right now. We got the 0-2s. We got 3 of them with Crew, Chance, and Tuck. So hopefully they can start getting their seasons going better. Kyle, Andy, and Jack are the only ones 2-0 still. So congrats to them, continuing the undefeated streaks right there. So points right now, I currently have the most points out of all the teams so far, with Kyle second, Seth third. Last is Chance's team. So very unfortunate right there for Chance's team. Hopefully they can get healthy soon. Now, so we're looking at that. Projected playoff bracket, doesn't matter. We're not going to look at that. Final standing projection, this is what I want to look at. I just kind of like looking at this just because it's something to look at, you know. So now, projected number 1 is Andy. Jumped from 9 to 1. So Andy is now projected number 1. 2 is Kyle. 3 is Jack. 4 is Jace. 5 is Dylan. 6 is me. 7 is Carson. 8 is Tuck. 9 is Bryce. 10 is Dylan. Or no, I'm sorry. 10 is Dylan. I apologize. I got these mixed up. 10 is Dylan. 11 is Chance. 12 is Tuck. 13 is Carson. I got these mixed up, boys. I'm sorry. What am I doing? Okay. Let me do this again. I'm sorry. 1 is Andy. 2, Kyle. 3, Jack. 4, Jace. 5, Hayden. Wow. 6 is me. 7 is Seth. 8 is Connor Calavan. 9 is Bryce. 10 is Dylan, 11 is Chance, 12 is Connor Tuck, and then 13 is Carson Calavan, 14 is Crew. Okay, sorry, I got those mixed up, but yeah, there's that. Like I said, still doesn't matter, but it's just something to look at, just what ESPN is projecting the number one team. So, Andy, a lot of high potential for your team for the rest of the year. So we'll see what happens. Had a couple, lot of waivers go on just because of injuries. We'll look at those real quick. Lot of stuff going on. Let's look through these real quick. So after Sunday, we had obviously a drop from I don't know anymore. He went ahead and picked up Jerome Ford, but something happened. He doesn't have Jerome Ford anymore, so now he's got Keandre Miller, another handcuff. Let's see. Dropped out of Takedale for Chance. Ezekiel Elliott is now on the waivers, and Craig Reynolds got picked up from Detroit, running back. Juwan Johnson's now on the waivers. Kareem Hunt obviously got picked up going to the Browns. Breida, handcuffs for Saquon, got picked up. Jarrett McKinnon is now on the waivers. Oh shit! So that Brandon Aubrey for Jerome. Wow, that's crazy. Devontae Parker was added. Rondale Moore got dropped, so Rondale Moore is now on the waivers. Jonathan Mingo has been added. Traylon Burks is back on the waivers again. Kadarius Toney got added. Alan Lazard is on the waivers due to that horrible Jets offense. Shot Penny's on waivers. Jonathan Mingo is back on waivers. Pierre Strong just got added, Cleveland running back. Who knows what he's going to do. Keandre Miller, handcuffs. Graham Gano, I dropped. I got a kicker. So, yeah, Dylan got Sam Howell, and then Chance dropped Russell Wilson for Tony Jones, the New Orleans RB2. All right. So there's that. All right, now we're going to go to the last section, NFL schedules, man. All right, so we got a big Thursday night matchup, New York at San Francisco. New York came off a huge comeback victory, but I think San Francisco's got the win here, obviously. They're just the most dominant team in the NFL, other than maybe the Dallas Cowboys. They've been really dominant to start the year. Baltimore's looked good, so I think they start the year off 3-0, beat New York. Tennessee at Cleveland. Pretty good matchup here, surprisingly. Very low ticket prices too, $29. Wow, you can go to that game for $29. But yeah, I don't really know who wins this matchup because Cleveland didn't look good last week. Tennessee didn't. They got the win, so Tennessee coming off that dub. This one's a toss-up. I'd probably go with Cleveland at home. I think they get the dub here. Next up, we got Atlanta at Detroit. This is a sneaky good game. Atlanta's had a pretty solid start to the year. Detroit lost to the Seahawks last week. I'm going to ride with Detroit. I think they're going to get the win here. I think they're just too much for Atlanta to handle. Next up, we got New Orleans at Green Bay. Good matchup here, too. New Orleans coming off the win. Coming off their win that they had. And then, yeah, Green Bay. Green Bay, this is a toss-up. I'm going to go with the Saints here, even though Green Bay looks good. Next up, Denver at Miami. We go with Miami here. I do not like Denver. I have not liked their team since Russell Wilson went there. So they have just not looked good. They continue to. Their offense looks a little bit better. I'll give them that. They looked pretty decent last week. I'm going with Miami, dude. I'm riding with Tua. I'm riding with Tyreek Hill. We got the Chargers at Vikings next. This is a good game too. Offensive fucking game that we're gonna see. Minnesota gets their first one of the year and beats them. New England at Jets. I am gonna go with my Patriots. They have disappointed me the first 2 weeks. This should be a win. The only thing that is gonna stop us is our defense, but I think our defense is better. I hope they are. I don't know. Our offense looks really bad right now, but I hope we can at least put up enough points to beat the horrendous Jets offense. So, Buffalo at Washington next game. Got Buffalo. This will be another sneaky good game because Washington's had a good start to the year, but I think Buffalo's defense dominates. So, Houston at Jacksonville. Jacksonville, I'm going to go with. Houston just they had a little bit of optimism offensively. Their defense has been somewhat okay too, but I'm going to ride with Jacksonville. I think they come off that loss they had and bounce back. Colts at Baltimore. Baltimore's going to get the win. They're looking really good to start the year. The Colts do have a similar kind of situation at QB happening with running base QB that likes to run more than pass. But yeah, I'm going to go with Baltimore here. Carolina at Seattle. I am going to ride with Seattle. Carolina doesn't really look great to me. I think Seattle gets the win here. Chicago at Kansas City. Kansas City will get the win, but I think this will be a really good offensive game. I think Chicago is going to put up points, but I think Kansas City is going to put up more. Dallas at Arizona. This could honestly not be a bad game. Y'all might call me crazy, but Arizona has not looked too bad this year. Dallas defense is probably going to dominate theirs, but we'll see. I think this game might be a little closer than people think. I'm going to ride with Dallas because they look really good, but Arizona could have an upset here brewing. Pittsburgh at Vegas. This is another good game right there. I don't really know who to go with on this. This is very tossy because Pittsburgh offenses look subpar. Vegas's has looked really okay too. But with Jacoby Myers coming back, that's some optimism for the Vegas Raiders. I don't know. I think I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. I just love their team. They have an amazing defense. I think their defense is going to step up once again and help them. We got two bangers for Monday night too. Philly at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's had a great start to the season, but now they got their first test. Big time test in Philly. I'm going to go with Philly on this one. I just think they have talent across the board. Jalen Hurts is a better QB than Baker Mayfield, and I would expect him to outperform Baker Mayfield in this game. So I'm going to go with Philly. And then we got the Rams at Bengals. Another really good game here. The Bengals have had a slow start to the season. The Rams have also not started the year off ideally, but their offense looks great. So this game could be interesting. I'm going to ride with the Bengals if Joe Burrow plays. But if Joe Burrow doesn't play, I'm going with the Rams. So, all right, boys, that's all the games we got this week. I hope y'all enjoyed this podcast. How long did we get this podcast going for? 38 minutes. All right, so we're kind of keeping the same time frame on all these podcasts. Don't want them to be too long. Don't want them to be too short. But definitely want to fill in all the information that I can on these. But, yeah, that's about it. We will go into – you'll see me next on Week 4's podcast. Good luck to everyone this week. We will see what happens. Definitely, hopefully, have some more things to talk about coming into next week. So, all right, boys, y'all have a great rest of your fucking week, and good luck.